4,000 homes built at the Sakumono Ramsar site. He said that there has been contention over the siting of the building. A team from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources are going to undertake a marking exercise, which will be followed by another stakeholders engagement in a few weeks' time, and then there will be a roadmap for the next line of action. His a final quote from him: "We are trying to look at how to balance everything, and while we do so, I want an assurance from you that going forward, construction works will be halted."
Look.
Well, you don't tell me to start.
No, I was going to say something. I'm just looking at a story, graphic online. Hundreds of buildings to go down at Sakumo Ramsar site, Regional Minister. And the story here, there's a quote attributed to the Regional Minister. He says, anytime we speak, they go ahead and build with impunity. And that cannot continue. We're going all out to ensure that buildings that are sited in the core part of the Ramsar site are removed. And he said this at a crunch stakeholders meeting ahead of the demolition exercise. And the meeting was meant to court the support of traditional authorities. Now, the Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in charge of forestry, Benito Owusu-Aboagye, was at the meeting, which was also attended by MMDAs within the Tema Enclave, officials of TDC, as well as the Greater Accra RECSEC. Now listen to this. It says, officials of the TDC, led by its Chief Executive Officer, Abna Oforiatta, said the corporation had not given out any land within the Ramsar site to anyone to build. This is instructive.
Yeah.
Of the TDC, its CEO, Abna Oforiatta, says the corporation had not given out any, that's the emphasis, land within the Ramsar site to anyone to build. Similarly, officials of the Tema West Municipal Assembly denied ever issuing building permits to anyone to put structures within the site.
So basically, all these 4,000 people, no matter how beautiful their houses are, they are squatters. Legally. Because no authority has sold you land or given you a permit to build there. So you are built there illegally. You've committed a crime. Just like the people who occupied Agbogbuloshi.
Yeah.
And when the regional minister was going to clear the people from Agbogbuloshi, I don't think he held any stakeholders meetings where he appealed to them to stop. I don't think he sat with them and assured them that he was going to get the any other ministry to come and regularize their stay at Agbogbuloshi.
I get you. And I share your sentiments on this one because it tells you how we implement laws in this country. Listen, most of us believe that Harry Cotter is a fine gentleman. When he says he'll deal with it, he'll deal with it. But I'm sure he's caught on with the politics of the day. But Minister, there is something working for this people, the people of this republic that's clear. A Ramsar site cannot have these buildings. Full stop. It means the president no longer directed all MMDCs across the country to clear all buildings in waterways. You know why this is also important? When we talk about flooding, the adaptation rules that we are not able to fund, the amount of money we require to actually save people die. In fact, there's a report by the Auditor General that says that between 2015 and 2020, more than 500 Ghanaians died due to flooding alone. Let's think about it for a second. Somebody's greed, and this is just the bottom of it, it's pure greed, cannot prevent others from living. We know that this is one area. In fact, a report suggests there are only 5 Ramsar sites in this country, the entire Republic of Ghana. And why is that important? Maybe I should read it again. A Ramsar site is a wetland designated to be of international importance under the Ramsar Convention, also known as the Convention on Wetlands, as an intergovernmental environmental treaty established in 1971 by UNESCO and came into force in 1975. These areas, to make sure that when water is actually coming from all areas, it can actually, like a buffer, absorb some of it, so that it will hold it for a period, so that we are not flooded. We all do not die in the process. A few greedy people have taken over this place. You, the minister, is endorsing illegality. You are endorsing the greed. You are saying that there was no business removing anybody from Agbogbuloshi. The only difference is that they are poorer people. And that when people are rich, and we know that people who, if for nothing at all, we know that Ramsar site was part of the place that was in Sir John's world. At least it was read to everybody's hearing. If that's the original world, we all heard it. It does not make sense. Henry Korte cannot protect the rich and make the poor obey the laws of this country. That does not make sense. That is not a state that thrives. That's not rule of law. Rule of law says that if it's Winston who is tall and me who is short, we all are actually subject to the law. No matter the amount of money in your pocket, no matter where you are citing your illegal property, it should be removed like all others. You cannot get any excuse for this. And in fact, for just suggesting this, for just suggesting that you will not implement the laws of this country, nobody should remain minister for that particular role in any proper state. For just suggesting that your oath that you took in office to implement the laws, you don't implement the laws. Because you're just saying to other people that I can also go and occupy another place around the coast where all the other water bodies live, the lagoons, and say that next time they'll come and regularize it. It doesn't make sense. And people like him, Henry Korte, has a very good history of doing what is right. Whatever entered his system, for him to be in a position to protect these people, please, I'm sure he can backtrack nicely. And I know that when it comes to lands and natural resources, I'm not sure anything will happen there. I doubt if the president will be willing to also act in the interest of this country on this matter. I'm just praying that for the people who are trusted Henry Korte, to do what is right, he will just backtrack and do what is right now. It is embarrassing for a country that believes in rule of law.
So let me bring this home a bit, okay? When it rains, the slightest rainfall in Ashama and Tema and surrounding areas, it causes floods. And one of the big reasons is because
A
this
few people
site
have occupied
that's
the
supposed
place.
to protect the entire area is encroached, right? And we had a showdown. This was big when he took his men, insisted that he was going to do the right thing. I don't know what happened, how quickly he's made a U-turn, now encouraging them and saying that we're going to sit down again. I'll see how we can regularize your illegality.
Look, in other jurisdictions, they protect their Ramsar sites. Bolivia has
Only five.
Ramsar sites totaling 148,000 kilometers.
Square kilometers.
Square, yes. Bolivia,
Yeah. Wow.
yes. And they protect it. That's more than half the size of Ghana. They protect it. Look at Ghana. Now, you have 5 Ramsar sites.
Only 5.
The Densu Delta, Sakumo, Songo, Keta, and Pomaze. Now, the Sakumo Ramsar site has an area of some 3,500 acres. And it covers part of Tema Community 3, 5, 6, 11, 12, through the Sakumono village, Old Lashibi, and Klagon. Today, we have actually illegal activities. A lot of people have taken over the Ramsar site. And that's what Mamavi makes the point today, because I've just been reading to you, earlier I read to you the University of Ghana's research that indicates that this Ramsar site is expected, okay, to provide protect Sakumo and its environs against floods and pollutions. Let it rain for 2 hours today. Go to Sakumo, go to Asham, and go to Lashibi. And just go look at how the place gets flooded all of a sudden. In 1989, when they built the Sakumono estate at the time, they used to call it Small London. Today, you cannot say same. The point is that when you have a minister who goes to a people and say, I am prepared to do the right thing, we all applaud you. Then you make a U-turn and say, oh, for those of you who have finished building your houses, where you can live there. They cannot do anything like that, Honorable Minister. I agree with you, Raymond. For having done that U-turn today, Henry Korte must not go back to his office, because he has clearly shown that he has let the Ghanaian people down.
To protect a few people.
And he's not applying the same Local Governance Act 936 that he talked about when he decided to go and demolish structures. You told all of us that these persons have built in contravention of Act 936. So you are going to do the right thing. Then you turn around and say, oh, the right thing that I was going to do, now I've decided to change the right thing and do the wrong thing.
So what we're seeing now is a certain combination. So dishonesty and hypocrisy is combining with money and power. And it happens all the time. It's just that now there is no shame in it. Now they don't even hide it.
They announce
Same person came to tell us, no fear or favor. We're going to demolish anything that is illegal. Okay, all right, fine. So 4,000 people illegally built in this Ramsar site. 4,000 people. 4,000 homes. Illegal, all of them. No government institution is endorsing any of these 4,000. They said we haven't sold any Ramsar land to anybody. But look at the impunity. First of all, Sir John can leave it in his will, a public document. He can leave, he can bequeath land that nobody has given to any individual.
That he cannot even give anywhere.
Yes, he can bequeath it to his family. All right. Then the minister announces, I'm going to demolish all of them, all 4,000 of them. Then suddenly, when money came in, when power came in, the conversation changes. Now, they are attempting to change the meaning of the law. So now I'm going to read another quote from the regional minister. He says, in order for the government to continue to provide basic amenities that we need as citizens, it is only proper that we at the RegStec impress on the lands minister, who has the mandate to make recommendations for regularization on the houses we have identified not to be within the core area and are way off the buffer zone. So now suddenly there is a difference between the law that applies in the core area and the law that applies in the buffer zone.
Yeah.
Even though it's all Ramsar site.
That's true.
Suddenly the law in the buffer zone should be different from the law in the core area. So if your house is in the buffer zone, then it can be regularized. Listen, the fact that you are discussing regularization means that the thing is irregular.
That's true.
It means it is illegal. You now want to use
So
the laws
I've
that you
got
should be
a-
passing on our behalf.
Yeah.
You couldn't you didn't even consider passing such a law to make Agbogbuloshi residents stay in place
Regularize
because
that.
you recognize that they shouldn't be there.
In fact, we have promised them toilets. We have promised them all of the other things we didn't deliver.
Thank you. And after failing, we then went and removed
Clear
them.
the place that is.
But as for this one, there you will regularize it. Can you imagine?
So, guys-
you've been caught stealing. They say, you know, I'm going to change the law so that stealing is legal.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
So
you are
I'm-
rich people,
Uh-huh.
because you are people who can afford,
Because-
because you are in a special class of people. You are superhumans. You are not like the other people. The other people, they
And
are just substandard. They are not human beings who deserve the same treatment.
So there was a phase one of this project where structures were demolished. I've got a question. What happens to those whose properties were pulled down? Are we giving those lands out to different people? Are we giving it to the old people?
I'll tell you
or
what's
what?
worse. They'll probably even compensate them. They'll probably compensate them because they may well have a case. They may well have a case. If you end up regularizing his neighbor after you demolished his property, he may have a case. Abba Simsunyi. It's the Super Morning Show on Joy. Stay with us.
Charlie, so it's actually raining and we can't hear any sound. As for this, your house, when it's raining, no sound. When the sun is up,